propelled into the 21st century, we find ourselves as a country in a position of dominance and worldwide respect. As the descendants of the early militia, the National Guard make up a significant part of the total military force. This is the legacy we've inherited. Surely those visionaries of yesterday would be proud, but they might ask us about our vision. What do we see ahead? Do we know where we're going with our organizations?
I'm Major General Stan Spears, the Adjutant General of South Carolina. You're probably aware that over the past few years, a large chunk of the total military force has been carved out of the heart of our nation's military, and the budgets for the remaining units have been cut severely. So when I go to Washington, I'm competing with all the other states for funding. We're also competing with the active duty for units and equipment. Do you know what motivates me to keep playing that game in Washington? Our soldiers and airmen, when they deploy, deserve the very best and latest equipment. I don't want them showing up for battle with second-hand equipment. Unfortunately, there's not enough federal dollars to fund all the units in all the states with the latest equipment. So you can imagine the competition among us adjutant generals. But here's something I've learned. The states that perform best, the states that most effectively manage their resources, they get the best equipment, the most resources, and more responsibility. Well, I'm here to tell you that while units in other states are furling their flags, here in South Carolina, we're fielding new equipment. Our force structure is being missioned for the warfight. So we now have more high-priority units than any other state.
These things just don't happen. They happen because we have great people in the South Carolina Army National Guard. I'm proud to serve with every one of them. We have proven over the years that we are a great investment in defense dollars. We've taken the resources we've been provided, we've maintained our personnel, our equipment, and our training readiness goals as set by the National Guard Bureau, and the planners know that investing in the South Carolina Army National Guard is a sound investment in this nation's defense.
Now, how did that come about? Well, it started right where it should have, with our people. Because of them, we've achieved our desired strength goals, while the majority of our sister states have not. As a result, we got some high-priority missions, training right along with active duty units in some cases. Now, with units spread all across the state, you may not be aware who those other units are or what they do. Well, I think you should know. In fact, that's really our purpose today, to show you the big picture.
The organization as a whole is called the South Carolina Military Department, comprised of the National Guard, State Guard, and the Emergency Preparedness Division. South Carolina's National Guard is made up of the Air National Guard and the Army National Guard. We have 6 major subordinate commands in the Army National Guard, and in the Air National Guard, a fighter wing. The 263rd Air Defense Artillery is headquartered in Anderson, South Carolina. The 228th Signal Brigade in Spartanburg. The 218th Heavy Separate Brigade, headquartered in Newberry. The 151 Field Artillery in Sumter. Troop Command in West Columbia. the State Area Command, or STARC, in Columbia. The 218th Leadership Regiment located at the Leesburg Training Site in Eastover. The Air National Guard's 169th Fighter Wing in Eastover. A total of 113 units and 86 armories.
As you can see, we're actually a very large organization. In fact, one of the largest employers in the state. We have over 12,300 soldiers and airmen with an annual budget in excess of $200 million. What most people don't realize is that's primarily federal money coming into the state. And of course, the state that have the most units and equipment get the largest amount of money. You might wonder why I'm telling you all this. Well, think about the economic impact of this $200 million. Think what a shot in the arm that is to our economy. Much of the credit goes to the people of South Carolina. Their patriotism and their support for the National Guard is very evident. It shows in the willingness of employers who allow their employees time off for drill weekends and annual training. Some of these overseas training exercises have become longer than the usual 2 weeks, and our guardsmen and women are being called out more often.
I'm here today with troops from the 4th Battalion, 118th Infantry. Very significant developments have been taking place with the 218th Infantry Brigade. Significantly, this brigade has been selected to be one of 6 in the Army National Guard to be part of the integrated division. 218th Brigade was scheduled to upgrade its Bradley's infantry fighting vehicles, the M2A0s, in about the year 2008, 2009, in that time frame. We've been able to accelerate that, so the 218th Bradleys will be upgraded the M2A2 ODS version of the Bradley. We've been able to get night vision goggles for the 218th, bringing up the shortages in this area. The improvements are not limited to 218th Infantry Brigade. We have exciting developments taking place throughout the South Carolina Army National Guard. The Field Artillery Brigade, for example, is fielding the MLRS rocket launcher. Those soldiers in the 3rd Battalion, 178th Field Artillery have done an outstanding job in their new equipment training and through section evaluations in fielding this ultra-modern field artillery rocket system. Later this year, the 4th Battalion, 178th Field Artillery, headquartered in Georgetown, will begin fielding the most advanced cannon system in the world, the Paladin. This new equipment is already arriving at Leesburg, and we'll start that transition process in October 1998. We've been notified that we've been selected in a few years to field within the Signal Brigade the Power Pack 3 company, which will provide the most sophisticated satellite communications that the Army can provide. And we believe that once again, that the reason we were selected to do that is because we've done such an outstanding job with the resources we've been given in the past. Our Engineer Battalion, the 122nd Engineer Battalion, is a Force Support Package 1 unit, the largest battalion size unit that's a Force Support Package 1 unit in the entire Army National Guard.
127th CSE Engineer, Whispering, South Carolina is my hometown.
Did you think that this is what the border was going to look like when you were told you were coming out here?
No, sir, not at all. I thought it would be something that was well established.
Went to Panama and Honduras, working in the mountain.
Our Aviation Battalion, which includes an Apache Battalion and a detached Black Hawk Company, are some of the finest trained and highest priority aviation units in the entire Army. The 2nd Battalion, 263rd Air Defense Artillery, is receiving new equipment, the ultra-modern short-range air defense system, the Avenger. We will be standing the 1st Battalion, 263rd Air Defense Artillery back up as the Divisional Air Defense Battalion, and the brigade headquarters is converting to the Army Air Missile Defense Command, the only one in the reserve components. A very exciting and very important mission.
The South Carolina Air National Guard is undergoing a fundamental change of mission. We possess the Block 52 F-16s, which were built primarily to suppress enemy threats. This is playing chicken with the surface-to-air missile sites, the anti-aircraft sites, and the enemy aircraft. We'll be the first guys to go into enemy territory when a fight breaks out. We'll be the last guys to leave. And so it requires quite a bit of training and specialized capability. The aircraft the South Carolina Air Guard possesses was specifically designed and built to manage this role. Once you get below the skin of the aircraft, it's an entirely different machine. It's got some extremely advanced technology in it that other versions of the F-16 do not have. Space-based assets, data link capability, and some extremely high-tech electronic emission gathering equipment.
As one of the leaders in the South Carolina Air Guard, I'm excited about this. I'm excited about the opportunities for the people, the men and women of the South Carolina Air Guard. I'm excited about what this means for the American people.
The South Carolina Air Guard, with our suppression of enemy air defenses capability, will be one of the busier Guard units in America. We'll be on demand and on call. We wouldn't have it any other way. There are going to be Guard units in America that will be important national defense assets, but because they have less capability than we do, will not be tasked as heavily as we are.
The fighter wing's not the only unit here at McEntire that's modernizing. We have two other units here at McEntire. In conjunction with the fighter wing, we have the 245th Air Traffic Control Squadron, which is the air traffic controllers, the radar, the navigational aids that the pilots will use. The 240th Combat Communications Squadron is also modernizing. They're receiving the most modern computerized technology today. They will soon be able to communicate directly with satellites to receive instantaneous information in the battlefield.
We in the leadership of the South Carolina National Guard have invested a great deal of time discussing our vision for the future. We've identified 4 imperatives, things essential to our success.
Committed leadership, quality people, operational excellence, and relevant force structure. Our leaders must be committed to our values.
Our values will serve as the boundaries. Operate within them. Be competent. Communicate. Work as a team. We've got to trust each other, so be honest. Have integrity. Demonstrate fairness. And never forget who you're doing this for. Your family and your community, state, and nation.
Our leaders must be committed to the achievement of our goals. Our first goal is to achieve personal readiness in all our units. We must be at full strength with fully qualified soldiers or airmen in every authorized position. Our second goal is to achieve full training readiness. All of our units must be fully prepared to fight as a team and accomplish all assigned missions to standard. Our third goal is to achieve equipment readiness. All of our equipment must be maintained and fully mission capable. Our fourth goal is to promote and market the South Carolina Military Department. Our fifth goal is to enhance resource management. We must get the maximum bang for every buck. We owe it to the American people and to our soldiers and airmen that every dollar is spent wisely as we prepare in times of peace for war. We must have leaders committed to excellence. Our leaders must never settle for second best. Our second imperative is quality people. We must continue to attract the best and the brightest into the South Carolina National Guard. We must develop them to their full potential, prepare them to assume greater levels of responsibility, and retain them in our organization. Our third imperative is operational excellence. Every aspect of our operation, from training to deployments, from administration to maintenance, to caring for our soldiers and airmen and their families, must be marked by excellence. Our final imperative is relevant force structure. Our major bill payers are the Army and the Air Force. Relevant force structure is a term for units that the Army and the Air Force have deemed important and essential to our nation's security. The priority for defense resources goes only to those units missioned by the Army and the Air Force for the warfight. We are relevant today because we have achieved and maintained high standards of readiness. Our future readiness and ability to maintain highly relevant units are built on a foundation of committed leaders, quality people, and operational excellence.
We must continue to prove to the Army and Air Force that the assignment of high-priority mission units in South Carolina's National Guard is a sound investment of defense dollars. If we fail to meet any of these imperatives, we won't achieve our goals. But if we master these imperatives and stay true to our values, we will build a solid organization that will stand the test of time. That, my friends, is our roadmap to the future.
It's now up to each of us to do our part. Our goals are unattainable until all are involved, until each individual takes on these goals as his or her own, until everyone is contributing in the fight. And one day, when we're all communicating effectively, when our processes are efficient, when the American people are getting from us exactly what they need, when our soldiers and airmen feel the freedom to do their best work, to share their ideas, to individually make a difference for the betterment of their team, when our leadership is characterized by integrity and purpose, we will leave a lasting legacy to our children who hopefully will pick up the torch and start down that road again.